How master manifestors think. You see, I have the privilege of being hired by professional athletes. I'm talking professional footballers, players in Arsenal, players in Newcastle, professional NFL players, Hollywood actors, 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs. And by observing them and working with them, I have taken note of how they unconsciously are master manifestors without them even realizing. Now, it's also a privilege to be hired by them because I also help these people advance their careers even further. If you look at one of my clients, Malik Thiel from Newcastle, his performance has been through the roof. If you look at my other clients, their results show up in their revenue increasing in a matter of weeks without making any particular business changes. So in this video, I'm going to help you get a master's in manifesting, because it's very important for you to know how master manifestors think, because until you do, you won't possess the capability of making reality to submit to you. Because as you know, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. So becoming a master manifestor is of the highest importance. So let's get into it.
You already know niggas are gonna steal this title. How to get a PhD and da-da-da-da-da.
C is very divine, you're a one of a kind, but you mash up my mind. You often get declined, oh Lord. My baby's driving me crazy. You're way too beautiful, girls. He really, that's literally generational. That song should have fed his generations.
What did he need fraud for?
Because he's in jail for fraud, didn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know what he did, but free him. From that song, free him. Fraud, come on. Fraud's not even that deep. Come on. If it was some serious shit, I'd be like, don't free him, but come on. Like, he made beautiful girls. You know what I'm saying?
And eeny, meeny, money, man.
She's indecisive. She can't decide. She keeps on looking from left to right. Come on, man. Come on.
Different gravy.
Different.
Someone said, thank you. I manifested a new apartment, 5K, and a 75K teaching contract by shifting my frequency.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's phenomenal.
Many blessings to you, AJ, and everyone on the channel. Feeling amazing to be the CEO and content creator of my life. I say. That's sick.
That is very sick. Now, before I get into the ways that a master manifestor thinks, make sure you take notes and leave them in the comments as usual. But I think we should begin with laying the wood down first, pause. Because it's important that we actually have foundations, because how the fuck are you going to have the capability of being a master manifestor if you don't even understand what manifestation is? And I mean this in a sense that there seems to be this consensus in the quote-unquote spiritual community that manifestation is something to do with changing reality, changing the world around you, shaping reality with your thoughts, yada, yada, yada. But all of those definitions are incorrect, and it's that definition that makes you incapable of being a master manifestor for a multitude of reasons. So like I said, most people's definitions of manifestation, it's always something external. The focus is external. And that goes down to changing reality, altering your world, the multitude of variations of saying the same thing the same way in different ways. Now, like I said, it's always externally focused. And the issue is you cannot be a master of the external because the external is an illusion. The external is nothing more than a reflection of the internal. Reality is nothing more than materialized frequency, state of consciousness, self-concept, imagination, all interchangeable terms for the same thing. Reality is nothing more than materialized frequency. Frequency is nothing more than immaterialized reality. Conceptualize it in the same way that imagination, state of consciousness, self-concept, it's like steam, right? You can't really grasp steam, but that doesn't mean it's not real. And ice and steam are the same energy, just in different vibrations, at different vibratory rates. It's the same thing. So most people seek to be a master manifestor by trying to be a master of reality, when the only thing you need to be a master of in reality is you. Let's borrow that down. The only thing that you need to control in reality to materialize the reality that you want is you. And this comes down to my definition of manifestation, which is manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you are no longer manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. And with this definition, the true definition of manifestation, when you come to a point where you're good with or without something, that's when you become in vibrational resonance of it. That's when you become the mental and emotional equivalent. That's when you match the frequency. That's when you become the self-concept. That's when your imagination begins to reflect what it is that you want. When you're at that point to which you've internally shifted to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. Internal being the most important, because so long as you want to be a master manifestor, you have to be a master of the internal, because it's through that internal shift to which then you actually possess the capability of being a master manifestor. So now let's actually get into how a master manifestor thinks.
I've been watching Nero on acquiring knowledge for a month now. And in that time frame, I've been able to manifest my dream home, which I moved into on Tuesday the 23rd, and more income on my daily stock options trades. This man has helped me open up a whole new world. I find myself saying that's a bar, write that down anytime I hear or see anything that aligns with my new frequency. I am passing your YouTube channel and book around like it's a hot potato.
Thank you very much, because there's some niggas that watch this channel, yes you, that gatekeep this channel. And that was only revealed to me recently, that niggas actually attempt to gatekeep us. Unbelievable.
I remember you posted it on your story. They're talking about, I can't let my ops see this.
Absolutely unbelievable. No, but that's amazing. Congratulations to you. It's always lovely hearing stuff like that.
This one sounds crazy. Bro, thank you. Like, for real. This should be the highest paying job. The value in these videos could sink the Titanic. I just manifested a high paying job from being unemployed for years. Damn. This happened in the most unthinkable way possible.
Damn, did he say how?
No.
Whoever said that, comment how, I want to know. You said the Titanic. Ain't it crazy that all the films that girls like the Titanic, the Notebook, they're all films where brothers are getting done dirty?
Yep.
Oh, the Titanic, cheating on her man.
Nah,
Notebook,
the Titanic was big.
Notebook with a broke nigga. Then he's ain't got nothing. The dad's cussing him out. She leaves for a rich man. Has the life of that rich man while my man's just building a house with his bare hands. Then she goes back to him at the end, destroying the rich man's like, yo, it's just like, what is this? What is this? Let's go. I just used purple. Yeah. So, first things first when it comes to how a master manifestor thinks. A lot of people make the mistake of not taking into consideration the beliefs that they have around their ability to alter their reality. What do I mean by this? More often than not, when people want to increase their money, they think, I need to work on my money beliefs. When people want to materialize a healthy relationship, they think to themselves, I should work on my relationship beliefs. When people want to get employed, they think I need to work on my career beliefs. When people want to get employed, they think I need to work on my beliefs around promotion. But how often have you looked into your beliefs around manifestation? Because it's the beliefs that you care about manifestation that are the perimeters to which you can go. And that's a bar that down. And what I really mean this, because you need to take into consideration that the most important belief that you have is your belief about your ability to change your reality. Because think about it like this. If you believe manifestation is a hard process, then the attempt to make more money through manifesting more money is instantly going to be locked into the confinement of the belief that determines manifestation. So the first thing that a master manifestor believes is that manifestation is easy. But it doesn't feel easy, does it? You're watching hundreds of videos, you're reading bare books, you're doing these meditations, you're doing these visualizations. Hell, some of you niggas have even changed your diet thinking that that's gonna make a fucking difference when it comes to altering your reality, which, by the way, it makes no particular difference at all. That's not to say that there's no vibrational increase or vibrational change, but when it comes to the capability of altering your reality, the only thing that matters is your state of consciousness. The only thing that matters is your frequency. And I don't mean frequency in this spiritualized ego game of brownie points and being high and low. I simply mean your level of awareness, because frequency is expressed in humanity as our level of awareness. That's why individuals that have a high frequency aren't the niggas that you see walking barefoot, eating fucking acai bowls. It's people that have the correct level of awareness and they see clearly beyond the illusions of reality, not being confined in these third dimensional realm constraints such as time, space, polarity, and all of those things. But manifestation is easy. More important than your belief about your ability, well, more important than your belief upon the aspect of your life that you wish to change, is the belief in the likelihood of that changing. It almost sounds common sense, but how often have you said to yourself, manifestation is easy? More often than not, especially within the realm of the occult or the esoteric, there's this tendency to obfuscate information, which just means making it more complicated than it is. I would say simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication, as said by Leonardo da Vinci. And really and truly, all of this shit is simple and it's easy. But if you don't believe it's simple and easy, then when you attempt to alter your reality, when you attempt to get into a healthy relationship, when you attempt to materialize more money, when you attempt to materialize a promotion, when you attempt to materialize more client sales, you're not taking into consideration the overarching belief that governs it all, which is the belief of manifestation in and of itself. People have made manifestation this magical, mystical, complex thing without taking into consideration that it's easy. Because here's the irony of it all. There are no truths in the reality that you experience other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. So if your subconscious mind has accepted the idea that manifestation is complex, that it's magical and it's difficult and you need to begin to take into consideration the fact that you're subconsciously solidifying difficulty and you're perpetuating a degree of complexity when it comes to the realm of actually changing your reality. Think about it like this. You wish to go to the reality of more money. You wish to go to the reality of a healthy relationship. You wish to go to the reality of a particular career. You wish to go to the reality of a career promotion. But you're not taking into consideration that the vehicle is the thing that gets you there. And what is your belief upon the vehicle that gets you there? You have your desired reality, you have your destination where you wish to go, which bear in mind, the moment that you begin to put yourself in the right destination, then you go in the right direction. That's a bar, write that down. And I truly mean that, because we often think to ourselves, I need to go in the right direction to go to the right destination. But remember, you can only have what you already have. And the moment that you begin to be in the right destination where you are right now, then you're going to be intuitively guided by the version of yourself that's already in that reality through intuition, which is nothing more than a version of you reminding you how you got to that reality in the first place. And then you're going to begin to attain mental nudges to which you capitalize upon. And you're not really collapsing intuition, you're collapsing the frequency of your desired reality to where you are right now. But to go back to what I was saying, manifestation is the vehicle in of itself. And if you believe that it is difficult, that it is complex, then you're getting into a whip with 10 different steering wheels and you don't even know which one to, you know what I'm saying? You don't know if the car is a manual, what do they call it in America, a stick. You don't know if it's an automatic, you don't know if it's a stick, maybe it's a combination of both. There's 5 steering wheels, there's 100 different buttons. Why? Because you have indirectly made the vehicle that takes you to your desired reality unnecessarily complicated, as opposed to coming to the recognition that it's truly simple and easy. And once you can get your subconscious mind to accept the idea that it's easy by declaring that it's easy, which, by the way, it's a simple decision. Every particular belief that we have is a decision that we simply became unconscious of. And so borrow that down. But the irony of beliefs is that beliefs are entities in of themselves. So beliefs will attempt to convince you that it's not as easy to just decide something else as their way of maintaining their mental real estate and then showing up in your world externally. Because before anything can exist physically, it first exists vibrationally. So you have to come to the declaration that manifestation is easy. Changing my reality is easy. Change my reality is simple. Because what that then allows you to do is to project the experience of an easy, simplistic manner to which your desired reality is created. And it's so crazy because, like I said, you'll see people focus on altering their beliefs around relationships, altering their beliefs around themselves, altering their beliefs around money, altering their beliefs around business, all the attempts to materialize their desired reality without taking into consideration the very vehicle that takes you to your desired reality, and that is manifestation. So what is your beliefs on manifestation? What is your beliefs? Because for me, as a nigga who read hundreds of books, I can assure you, mine was that it's very difficult, it's complicated. Which kind of intertwines into the second thing that a master manifestor thinks.
Five days into Nero content and I manifested 7K in one day.
Fire. But please do not make the mistake of associating that to be with me or reflective of my videos. That simply came as a manner of you becoming in vibrational resonance. You already had what you already had. So don't project that onto me, because if you do, I'll end up becoming the cult leader that niggas are trying to make me, and then I'll exploit everybody in our cult. What'll be some rules of our cult, AJ? No niggas.
No niggas.
That's rule no.
That bitch is only.
No, but all in all, congratulations. But please do not externalize that, internalize that. Because the moment that we begin to externalize things in reality, we separate ourselves from it. When you say, I was watching Nero's video, then I want to materialize this, like, it's cool, yeah. But at the same time, I don't want you to separate yourself from that. Because then when you have issues, you'll try to come back to me instead of yourself. Cool. Use AJ's favorite color. The second thing that a master manifestor has come to the conclusion of is I know more than enough. Now, please listen to me and listen to me very carefully. Most of you niggas don't have a problem when it comes to manifestation. Most of you niggas also don't have any particular adequacy in the information or the knowledge that you have acquired in the realm of manifestation. What you do have an issue with is your conviction in the knowledge you possess. I was on a call with a client of mine, and he was telling me his story about how he got into this information. And he said, he came across, this book that he ended up reading that helped him. And he read that book, and that book, this was the first book he ever read. First book he ever read when it came to the realm of manifestation. He read that one book and began implementing his life. Skyrocketed. Everything around him changed. Everything was unfolding in the way that he wanted. Then he said, damn, this is crazy, right? Because this is what we all think. Damn, let me read some more. Let me watch some more videos. Let me study some more. And then guess what happened? Now he hasn't had the capability of altering his reality, and he's confused. Because one would think that the more knowledge that one acquires, the better positioned you'll be. That's what the general tendency is. But more often than not, it's the opposite. Because what begins to happen is this. The more that you study, the more you learn, of course. But the more you learn, the more you realize you didn't know. And the more you realize that you didn't know, the more that you reinforce that you do not know. and the more that you reinforce you do not know, the less conviction you have in what you do know. Now
That's
listen,
dark.
it's dark, innit?
That's dark.
It's dark, innit? But think about it like this. There's a concept known as beginner's luck, right? You know, it's like playing Tekken with a girl. Like you play Street Fighter or Tekken with a girl, she'll bust you up on a quick thing. Pause. But then it's like, damn, what begins to happen? And everybody's had this experience of beginners luck. We first enter a field and we seem to be able to dominate, or we're fairly successful to a point where those around us that have been in that field are a bit confused, like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what the fuck is going on? And it's because beginner's luck is a mind without limitations. Beginner's mind is a mind without the inherited difficulties of others. Beginner's luck is a mind without limitations. And because there's no limitations, there's no confinements. And because there's no confinements, you freely move. What begins to happen is this. The more we study, the more we begin to learn. The more we learn, the more we realize everything we didn't know. The more that we realize the stuff we didn't know, the more we actually come to the conclusion that we actually don't know anything. And then the less conviction we have in what we do know. More important than what you know is the conviction in what you know. And that's a bar of that down. Please take that into consideration, or you're going to end up watching 100 of my fucking videos for the rest of your life. And I don't want to see you niggas here every single week. I do not. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Now, AJ is probably going to pull me up after this video and say, why are you telling them that? Why are view rate's going to go down? All of this. But it's important to say that I don't want to be a crutch. I don't want to see the same niggas commenting on my video saying, hey, Nero, I'm nearly there for 2 years straight. Comment on my video, say, well, go on, I'll say, what's up back. That's cool. But at the same time, I refuse to be like the other individuals that simply want to keep people hooked on being a crutch. Because like I said, more important than the knowledge you have is the conviction. More important than, more important than the knowledge you have is conviction in the knowledge you have. Because it's conviction in the knowledge that you have that begins to activate that knowledge in of itself. Conviction activates the knowledge. That's a bar of that down. Your conviction will turn the 5 into 5,000. And it all stems from this one thing that a master manifestor thinks, which is, I know more than enough. And because I know more than enough, I have conviction in what I know. And because I have conviction in what I know, conviction activates knowledge. Now, most people spend years acquiring knowledge, but have no conviction. And because they spend years acquiring knowledge without the conviction, they never have the capability to activate that knowledge. And because they never have the capability on activating that knowledge, they never possess the capability to change reality in a way that is somewhat permanent. And we see it again, because let's think about it like this. The more that we read, what naturally begins to happen the more that you study is analysis paralysis. You're like, damn, somebody said that, affirmations is the way. Somebody said it's subliminal. Somebody said it's scripting. Somebody says it's visualizing. Somebody says this, but this person says this, and this person, they've done this, and they have all these people that saying this worked for them and this worked for this person, but for me, and without even realizing it, you fall into analysis paralysis, and then you get to a point where you know so much that you do nothing. Because you're afraid of doing it wrong, so you don't even want to do it. Plus, people's particular views and concepts contradict to some degree. So what do? Nothing. Why? Because you have no conviction in the knowledge you have. And because you have no conviction in the knowledge that you have, you don't have the capability of activating the knowledge that you have. Which means that even if you read hundreds of books, but have zero conviction, you will activate zero of that knowledge. And if you activate zero of that knowledge, guess how much your reality is going to change? Zero. So it's important that you come to the conclusion that I know more than enough. Because here's the thing. You have to begin to understand that the universe seeks to magnify what it is that we're feeling, the frequencies that we possess within us, the consciousness that we have within us, our self-concept, our mental attitude is magnified by the universe. I talk about that in, what's that book called again? The Amazon bestseller for 20 weeks straight in all 3 categories. What's that book called? Outsmarting Reality by Nero Knowledge. Now, like I said, I talk about in the book that the universe seeks to magnify and maintain. And here's the irony of it all. When you possess the unconscious belief that you don't know enough, the universe will then magnify you not knowing enough by materializing circumstances, people, conditions that make you doubt yourself again and again and again. The whole premise of seeking to acquire knowledge is you not coming to the realization that you already know enough. And because you fail to come to the realization that you already know more than enough, you then inherently unconsciously align with the idea that you don't know enough. And then when you don't know enough, the universe magnifies that through self-doubt, because you're saying, I'm not enough. So then the universe says, all right, cool, you don't know enough. I'm going to show you people, conditions, and circumstances, things that you don't want, to then make you be confused as to what the fuck is going on with the knowledge you have. But like I said, you can only position yourself correctly when you come to the conclusion that I know more than enough. Even if that means taking a fast from manifestation videos, AJ is going to strangle me again. But you have to come to, he's side-eyeing me right now, but you have to come to the conclusion of the fact that if you stay in this perpetual cycle of studying, you have to begin to understand how the old frequency works. The old frequency doesn't mind you studying because it knows you're presenting yourself the illusion of change, because you don't actually have the capability of change because you lack conviction in the knowledge you have. And because you lack conviction in the knowledge that you have, it's okay with you studying. It's like, cool, keep studying. Yeah, go get this book. Go get this book. You see that one on Amazon, get that one too. Read some reviews to this book. Go get that one too. Because it knows that you are unconsciously using studying as a delay mechanism of altering your reality, because through studying so much, you learn more. And when you learn more, you realize how much you didn't know, the Dunning-Kruger effect. And then when you realize how much you didn't know, you then solidify the idea that I don't know. You then lose conviction in what you do know, which then limits the capability of you activating the knowledge that you do have that leads to the alteration of your reality. Whereas you could read 5 books. If you have conviction in those fucking books, but more importantly, conviction in you, then you turn the 5 into 5,000. So, you know more than enough. Say it with me. I know more than enough. I know more than enough. Because at some point, if you don't come to that realization and see, the other illusion presented by the old frequency is this. It makes you think that at some point you're just going to get that click. You're just going to get this light bulb moment. Just read a couple hundred more books. Watch a couple hundred more videos. Don't worry, you'll get that click. It's a fucking scam. It's a complete and utter scam, because it's presenting the illusion that eventually things are going to click, but things click when you click, and that's a bar that down. The light bulb moment comes when you flip the switch of the realization that you know more than enough. And this can be extrapolated to all aspects of reality.
This is a hefty comment.
Say less.
I started watching this video on, I don't know if this, the 22nd of September, 2025. Made notes in my
22nd September, that's the victim video. Make sure you guys watch that video. You need to be a victim in order for things to change.
Cold video.
Cold video.
Made notes in my new notes. Highlight points feeling smug. I then had to put the pen down and stop the video just before Nero was starting on the trauma section. Why? To process what I've learned, acknowledge the resistance that I may have with aspects, and work on it before moving on. Smart. It is now the 6th of October, and I've continued, that's recently. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've continued to watch and finish this morning. Pause. And
wow. Did you add the pause in?
No, I added it. And I'm determined to finish this. I agree wholeheartedly. This must be the first video to watch, as it will determine if you're ready for your awakening of self. You're ready to do the work, no matter how difficult or long it will take. This is a journey in which you can pause, leave, come back to. But trust me when I say Nero and AJ are a godsend. People pay thousands in therapy to not even come this close. I'm a mental health.
Aww.
Crazy, isn't it? I'm a mental health nurse of 16 years plus 3 years of training and holistic practitioner.
What the hell was that? What was that?
And intuitive. Is that it?
You're struggling to read, bro.
Bro, I'm dyslexic, bro. Are you gonna mock my disability?
Okay.
Yeah, you stand up there, bro.
Okay.
You stand up there.
Okay.
Cash you down.
Yeah, okay.
An intuitive and holistic practitioner, and for all the accolades.
Are you actually dyslexic?
I don't know.
Okay,
I
so
haven't
you're
done the
not.
test.
So you're not. So you're not.
When I see too many eyes,
Shut up, man. Shut up, man. Shut up, man.
Hey yo! Watch, I'm gonna get tested now. It's
All right,
over
get
for you.
tested then.
It's up, pause. And holistic practitioner, and for all the accolades and academic status, professional status, e.g. psychologist, etc. I know that Nero's videos, teachings, etc. is truly a game changer. If you can look past the M word,
Oof.
I did.
Sorry about that, guys. Which I do very intentionally for a specific purpose, which I'm sure some of you have already come to the conclusion of.
Because what he has to say, what quality he is giving us for free, no gatekeeping is truly priceless. Even though you guys gatekeep and he's not gatekeeping, but yeah.
Crazy.
Ironic. Whilst not dismissing the skills and knowledge of doctors, counselors, psychologists, the content provided by Nero is a gift to everyone, regardless of status, race, religion, age, etc. As I've seen in my career, those who are in crisis mode, articulate, have support network, committed a crime whilst mentally unwell, can afford therapy,
Sorry, bro. It's an early morning. It's all right. It's an early morning for us.
Institutionalized, etc. get intervention. The rest are left to cope while waiting.
This is like
to
when your
receive.
teacher asks you to read at the front of the class and you just start jamming in front of everyone.
But you know what it is? Man needs to use paragraphs, bro. And full stops. Like,
oh, it is.
This is just writing. Okay, second screenshot. When in truth, they may need a safe space, self-learning resources, supporting community, etc. Encouraged to read/explore further or listen to sessions like Nero. So from a 54-year young life learner, thank you, Nero and AJ, for making your gift accessible to many. I truly believe that you are helping so many. I'm so sorry for long posting, but I am not as I think. People who may scroll by or pass through should know what a game changer you are.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Fair enough, Sandra Patterson.
Thank you, Sandra. That's so sweet. That's actually so sweet.
Man, that was a tough read, but yeah, that was sweet, man. That was tough, man. That was tough.
That's crazy from a mental health professional. That victim trauma
of
video.
16 years.
That's real.
Yeah.
That is real. That is absolutely real. Thank you very much. That's so nice. So, how else are master manifesting things? Number 3. Oh.
No, you can't spell.
Stop it.
I had to get my get back, bro. Sorry.
No, to be fair, I saw that paragraph from here. I said, nah, you got it, stuff.
No paragraphs in that, bro.
Something else that a master manifestor thinks. The limitations of others do not belong to me. They don't. You see, in society, we make the mistake of inheriting the limitations of others. And we inherit the limitations of others through 2 ways in particular. Either experience or observation. But whether experience or observation, they're both internal. And more often than not, the collective consciousness has paradigms, beliefs, perceptions that we inherently install into our realities, which the moment that they become internal, they become external. And then we look at them as if they're truths without coming to the recognition that they're merely truths because our subconscious mind accepted it as truth. Hence why in the Kabbalion it says all truths are half truths. Now, through working with clients especially, like I said, one of my clients, Malik Theo, just moved from AC Milan to Newcastle. And one of the beliefs in football is that when you move to a new team, they keep you on the bench a lot, just, as things marinate and, just for you to get a feel of it. They threw my boy straight onto the pitch and he's been playing every game since. Because one of the beliefs that we spoke about is that is a limitation. Because here's the thing. All truths being half-truths. The moment that something becomes a truth, it's simply based upon subconscious acceptance. What we call a truth in reality is something that we experience. But what we experience is nothing more. What we experience externally is a reflection of what we're experiencing internally. So what we call a truth as human beings, something's a truth when you see it in front of you and then it's materialized in reality. But reality is nothing more than materialized frequency, materialized state of consciousness, materialized self-concept. So an alteration of our internal state will lead to an alteration of our external state. So then it comes down to the fact of you need to begin to ask yourself one question. Does this truth serve me? That truth did not serve Malik. So I said, listen, you're not going to accept that belief. I'm not going to let you accept that belief. I don't give a fuck about other niggas. They can, be on the bench for months when they transition to a team, but not you. No. Another one of my clients, Laura, owns a 120-acre farm in New York. I'll put it up on the screen. Make sure you go get some meat if you're around there. Pause. We were talking about...
Yeah, man.
We're talking about the concept of there being seasonal periods in business. Like there's specific times of the year to which it's collectively known in the farming industry as a bad month. That's the limitation of others that now does not belong to her. Because the only way that something will be a truth is if you allow it to belong to you, and it will only belong to you if you can accept it. So you need to begin to look at the aspects of your life that you wish to materialize and identify the truths of that particular field, which the truths are nothing more than accepted beliefs. And beliefs themselves are nothing more than entities that seek to take existence in one's mind, and those entities contain the possibility for being half-truths. And we all of us, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're Asian, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're this, I don't care if you're that. Everybody, race, gender, all of that, we all inherit geographical locations even, we all inherit particular limitations from the collective consciousness. And the truth of the matter is most of us wish to be anomalies in our lives. But how the fuck can you be an anomaly in your life if you think like everybody else? How can you be the anomaly in your life if you inherit the limitations of everybody else? Because through inheriting the limitations of everybody else, you place yourself into the same box, because the limit is just a perimeter, it's a box. That box is dependent upon your frequency. So you need to be wary of the aspects of your mind to which you've accepted the frequency of the collective consciousness, because you then allowed them to mold you. Everybody has certain limitations. For example, if you're a short nigga, people say that you're cooked and you can't get gal because girls don't like short niggas. That's a limitation. Are you going to inherit that? If you're a woman in business, which I speak to all my clients all the time that are women, and they always tell me this, that they're less likely to be taken seriously. Is that a limitation that you're going to inherit? No, because my clients understand that those limitations of others do not belong to me. They don't belong to me. For example, if you're black, are you going to accept it true that you need to work twice as hard as those around you to get half? Are you going to accept that it's true that the world is going to be against you? Is it true that, the world doesn't want to see you win? Is that a limitation of the collective consciousness that you're going to accept into your subconscious mind, to which is going to materialize that reality and then materialize that experience, and then you say it's a truth, as opposed to coming to the truth in what it says in the Kabbalion and the Hermetic philosophy of understanding that all truths are half-truths? Is that a truth? Yes, but it's simply a truth based upon the subconscious acceptance of it. And that subconscious acceptance then leads to the materialization in reality. So you have to come to the understanding the limitations of others do not belong to me. That's how master manifestors think, because they understand part of being a master manifestor is deciding your own matrix, altering your own internal state, building your temple internally to the way that you want, arranging the bricks of your reality in the way that you want, as opposed to the way that the world wants you to. And that is a decision, because the truth of the matter is this: all privileges fall to God privilege. And that's what borrowed that down. You being the materialization of God, the temple of God, as it says in Corinthians, the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. The Spirit of God, spirit in that particular context was the reference to state of consciousness. The consciousness of God being within you, you being God, God being within you. All privileges fall before God privilege. But the irony is this: the world wants to sell you on its privileges. The world wants you to say, hey, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. It's because you're a man, it's because you're a woman, it's because you're Asian, it's because you're black, it's because you're this, it's because you're this, it's because you're that. And the world wants you to begin to accept its privileges. And the moment that you internalize the privileges of the world, you then, of course, lock yourself into limitation, because the world in of itself is the third dimensional realm. And the third dimensional realm is the realm of limitation in of itself. In the Kabbalistic traditions, they call it the 1%. In the Hindu traditions, they call it the world of Maya. It's the illusion. The limitations of others do not belong to me. No sirree. No sirree. Hence why there's the ancient Gnostic saying of, I am in this world, but I'm not of it. I am in this world, but I'm not of it. I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. And it's the recognition of this in particular. Listen, even when I was in the ends, I wasn't in the ends. I'm walking in the ends. I'm seeing crackheads in the ends, but I ain't of the ends. You get me? Like, I'm not. That's not me. Hearing gunshots in it, but I'm not of it. And you have to come to the recognition that the limitations of others do not belong to you unless you decide so. So when somebody attempts to say, hey, don't start this business because, my uncle tried it and he lost his leg and, the acceptance of that particular limitation will belong to you. If it belongs to you based upon the subconscious acceptance, then you'll be in that world. Then you'll turn around and say, you know what, yeah, I've lost my leg now. You're right. I shouldn't have done what your uncle did. And there's this story in this book. I don't remember what book it was. I think it was either Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell or a book by Ernest Holmes or Emmett Fox. I can't remember which one. But there's a story to which there's this successful baker. He builds up his business. He has a multitude of stores, right? And then the baker has a son, and the son wants to contribute to the business. So he says, hey, I want to go to the best university and I want to begin to learn about finances and the economy so I can contribute to the business. He sends his son to the best university. His son then goes through university. He's still building his business is expanding. Then his son comes back after learning everything that he learned in that field, and comes back and says, hey, Dad, the economy is going down right now. Like, there's going to be a recession. Like, people are going to lose their jobs. Business is going to be low. A lot of businesses are going to shut down. A lot of people are going to lose their livelihoods. The father then, taking into consideration his son's expertise, his son's limitations, he then says, oh my God, son, you're right. I'm so glad I sent you to university. Then guess what? His business has collapsed. Then he turns and says to his son, son, you are right. And let that story be extrapolated to whatever it is that you wish to materialize. Some people will tell you that you're unqualified for a particular position because they're unqualified and they know somebody else who was like you, but it didn't work out for them. No, it will work out for you the moment that you internally declare that it will work out for you. Some people say, hey, don't even bother dating because, I tried to date and, they just treated me, they done me terrible. Then somebody inherits the limitations of somebody else. Then they internalize it. Then they experience it. And then they go back to that person and they say, you know what? Thanks. You're right, I should have listened to you. Without realizing that more often than not, when we listen to people, we're actually inheriting their limitations. And then when we inherit their limitations, we then will go and thank them very much for us listening to them.
Nero is a mushroom that grew from a harsh...
What the fuck?
Yeah, crazy. Just hear
so
him
he's
out,
just so he's just exposing me now.
Hear him out.
The jig is up now, guys.
Nero is a mushroom that grew from a harsh hood-like environment and blossomed into a beautiful gecko.
What? Sorry, let me stop interrupting you. Say that all again, please.
Nero is a mushroom that grew from a harsh hood-like environment and blossomed into a beautiful gecko. AJ creates and supplies Nero his specialized baby oil to fully develop into a lizard he's been destined for. Although Nero doesn't know that AJ is lacing Nero's oil so that he turns back into a mushroom and AJ becomes King Lizard. I'm on shrooms.
They've just exposed our whole play. They've just exposed our whole play. So you're the King Lizard.
I make specialized baby oil.
And you're lacing me right now.
Baby oil.
To turn me back into a mushroom.
Yeah, so I can be the King Lizard. Yeah.
But I was just a gecko anyways. Just let me be a gecko and you can be the King Lizard. Give me a second now. Need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My love is waiting for me
just across the bar.
I know I gave it to you months ago.
I know you're trying to forget. But between the drinks and subtleties and holes in my apologies, I find it hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and it feels like falling down,
I'll carry you home tonight.
Boom.
We are young. So I set the world on fire. So guys, you know, over the year and a half that we've been doing these videos, there's been some videos to which I have helped people end their anxiety in literally a 3 or 4 minute space. Quite literally, right? And it all comes down to some songs that I recommend. And a song that I recommend that will cure your anxiety and it will change your life and elevate you up to the highest level of consciousness to which you never see reality the same again is Survivor's Guilt by Dave. Survivor's Guilt by Dave. Go listen to that. This is 4 or 5.
This is 4.
You sure?
Yeah.
The problem is rarely the problem. The true problem is your perception towards the problem. See, a master manifestor understands one particular concept. And that's the truth of the fact that in reality, as we begin to transcend reality, we come to the realization that life has no meaning. Now, this is not me saying that life is valueless, but I'm saying life has no meaning. This is the true knowledge that positions you to alchemize your reality, because the alchemist knows that reality has no particular inherent meaning. You have to begin to understand something. Only within our third dimensional realm that we adhere to the law of polarity. Polarity is just a fancy way of saying separation. It's separation that only exists in this third dimensional realm. You can think about it as hot, cold, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, light, dark, negative, positive. That only exists within our third dimensional realm. And because separation only exists within our third dimensional realm, it is part of the ego's way of seeking to understand reality. Our mind seeks to categorize things in an attempt to understand it because billions of signals are being sent out your entire body right now. This is what evolutionary psychology states. And because there's billions of signals being interpreted through your body, it's interpreted as chaos. So as an attempt to make sense of the chaos, the mind begins to form what is called a reality tunnel. This is something spoken about in the book known as Prometheus Rising. Amazing book, highly recommended. But you have to begin to understand, life has no inherent meaning. The meaning that we attribute to life is our way of nothing more than trying to understand it, because the truth of the matter is, life just is. Life just is. Life just is. And this is perfect. Because life just is, we have the capability of painting life however we want it to be, based upon our perception towards it. But more often than not, when adversity strikes, bear in mind, it's only adversity to you. Life is just doing what it's doing. But the moment that you begin to internalize that this is bad and this is terrible and this is this and this and that, through that particular lens, you then end up tinting what you're seeing in that world. And because you end up tinting what you see in that world, the world then looks back at you tinted. To which now, where life had no meaning, more often than not, what we should do is take advantage of the fact that the problem is really the problem. What's happening to you just is. If, let's say, you fail to get that job, let's say you fail to get that employment, let's say you go through a terrible relationship, let's say your business is declining, all of those things just is. But it's the moment that we become, the moment that we enter with our particular perception towards the problem through a lens of negativity interlinked to adversity, then through our perception, we then lead to the projection, because your perception equates to your projection. It's what I call the perception projection loop. And through the way that we look at life is the way life looks back at us. So it's through our perception towards the problem, as a problem being this insurmountable, terrible, tragic, extremely bad thing, we then perceive it that way. And because we perceive it that way, it looks back at us through that heightened lens, intertwined with that meaning that we've attributed to it. Because meaning is emotion. And emotion is energy emotion. Energy emotion emits a signature that we call a vibration. That vibration builds momentum, becomes a frequency. That frequency then becomes a reality. The master manifestor understands that what is happening just is, but they need to make sure their perception is aligned towards something that reflects their desired reality. The problem is rarely the problem. The true problem nearly always is your perception towards the problem. The moment that you begin to view something as insurmountable, this is absolutely terrible, it's this large degree of chaos, you then actually end up creating a mountain in your reality. And Christ often said that faith has the capability to move us mountains. But one thing that he didn't say, which indirectly I guess he did say, is the idea that we can also create mountains and move mountains into our lives through fear in particular. And fear always stems from our perception, because it's the way that we perceive things that attributes meaning. And that meaning based upon our perception is always going to be reflective of either something extremely bad or extremely good. So you have to make sure that whatever the problem is that you're experiencing right now, the way that you're perceiving it is reflecting of the desired reality that you wish to materialize. So for example, me, I got a tax bill, right? And most people, they got that particular type of tax bill, they would be absolutely upset. They'd be absolutely upset. But my perception towards it is that this is an amazing thing, because I'm choosing to perceive this tax bill to be reflective of my particular financial worth to the economy or to the HMRC, also known as the IRS. And that particular perception, and me also perceiving the amount that other people would view as a large amount, as a small amount. And through that perception, I've aligned myself with the desired reality that I'm seeking to materialize too. And indirectly now, the problem isn't a problem anymore because I've altered my perception towards it. And here's the irony. When you can alter your perception, it's no longer a problem. The true problem lies in the way that you're perceiving it. But you're going to have the capability to want to perceive it differently. Because more often than not, when we experience a degree of negativity, it's intertwined and sticks to us like glue, to which we don't want to see somebody or something any other way than the negative way that we've already begun to see them. And that's a fault of our own. Because we are the ones that's truly affected. It goes back to what the Buddha said, right? Holding on to anger and resentment is like holding on to hot coal that you never throw. That can be extrapolated to most of the negative emotions or negative perceptions that we have in reality, because the people that ultimately suffer are ourselves.
Your comment section's funny. I remember that man were cooking me for gulping the water. You remember?
Yeah. That was, I beg you put a clip of that in the next video. That shit was hilarious.
All you hear is I was thirsty, man. What can I say?
I haven't used brown yet.
And brown and blue.
It's a bit strange, isn't it?
Bonnie blue.
Let me put my pens down, actually. Walk around with a pocket full of pens. A master manifestor also knows the board hadn't completely dried. It's going to bother me, that is.
Oh. Just wipe it down some more, bro.
You're right.
Slow.
I was too eager. You're right. Wait, are you talking me through it right now?
I'm sorry like that.
Cool. A master manifestor. That was crazy. A master manifestor also knows that I do not require the permission or confirmation from anyone except me. I cannot tell you guys the amount of times, which you might probably have the inclination to do this as you're watching this video. So let me just stop you right in your tracks. Oftentimes people ask me questions they already know the fucking answer to. I can't tell you that the amount of times. How often, and we all do this, how often do we seek to ask people things that we already know? You guys might comment something, I might be on live, you might ask me something that you already know the answer to. By the time I've said the answer to you, you were like, I knew you was gonna say that. So why the fuck are you asking me? It's because you're seeking my particular degree of confirmation or validation or permission, which is nothing more than an indication that you're lacking your rod. Now, if this was a cult, it'd be great for you niggas to keep asking me shit that you already know the fucking answer to. And then I'd be like, yes, you're right, my child. You're right. But I'm going to tell you metaphysically that the basis of you seeking permission or confirmation is simply a reflection of the fact that you're lacking your own confirmation and permission internally. Because this goes back to what I said in the second point. I know more than enough. That is something a master manifestor also understands. I know more than enough. And it's by coming to the basis of understanding that you already know more than enough, you would then not begin to seek the permission or confirmation from anyone, because the very act of you seeking permission, the very act of you seeking confirmation is nothing more than a confirmation that you are lacking your own confirmation, right? The moment that you begin to seek confirmation or permission or somebody else to validate something that you already know, that is an indication that you're lacking your own confirmation. And the truth of the matter that you need to come to is the fact that you do not require the permission or confirmation of anyone except yourself. And until you come to that realization, you'll be no different from the niggas that go to their pastor and say, oh, can you do this for me? You know, there's some churches in the UK where they call their pastors daddy.
Surely not.
Mom's life.
Surely
I know a
not.
nigga that calls his pastor daddy. Mom's life.
Why do you know him? You good friends?
Okay. I grew up with him. Bro, that's more normal than you think, you know?
Nah, surely not, bro.
I swear. People in the comments, especially if there's any Africans in the comments, they will tell you. And the way that they internalize is that it's a spiritual father. But I need you niggas to understand one thing. There's no barrier in between you and God, and that's what barrier that down. Why are you laughing?
I'm gonna have to speak to my boy. He's been going to church recently.
Ask him. I'm not lying, bro. Ask him.
That might just freak him out. He might just...
Yeah. He might be a bit like, oh. A master manifestor. Why do I keep stuttering on that? It's quite a tongue twister.
It is.
Master manifestor. It's a lot of S's.
It's number 5 or 6.
Don't know. I do not avoid reality. Why are you laughing? I do not avoid reality. Now, more often than not, there seems to be this idea in the manifestation space that you should ignore reality, and when things are going terrible, you should ignore it. And I'm from the opposite philosophy. I need you to understand one thing in particular. More often than not, when we're experiencing a particular degree of adversity, either people, conditions, circumstances, or events, that adversity is nothing more than frequency, right? It's nothing more than a state of consciousness. It's nothing more than in of itself an entity, right? A living thing. And when we seek to avoid an entity, that entity says, oh, you're scared of me. Say less. Say less. And like Kanye West, it becomes stronger. Because your degree, you attempting to avoid or you trying to ignore a particular condition, circumstance, or event is nothing more than a reflection of the fact that you don't possess, and this is what you indicate to the universe, that you don't have the adequate strength necessary to transcend that particular condition or event or circumstance, which places you beneath it. The hell is that? And because it places you beneath it, you're weak. And because you're weaker, it's stronger. And because it's stronger, it has a grip over you that will make you scream. Pause. So it's important you don't avoid reality. And I remember when the nigga was down bad, I would not want to check my bank account. Nope. You know, like when you've just been reckless. You've just been spending reckless. And you don't want to check your account. Because you know if you check that account, it's going to smack you in the face. But I always recommend any particular condition, circumstance, person, or event that facilitates a degree of discomfort or anything that you're seeking to avoid, I need you to understand, by seeking to avoid, you're strengthening that frequency. And by strengthening that frequency, you're making yourself weaker. And by making yourself weaker, you're placing yourself beneath it. And by placing yourself beneath it, it ultimately has power over you. You should never seek to avoid reality or ignore reality. A master manifestor understands one thing in particular. You can run away from your problems no more than you can run away from yourself, because you take you with you wherever you go. And that's a bar. Please write that down. You can't escape yourself. And because of that, you can't escape your problems. Your problems may temporarily fade in front of you, but that's just them going to the subconscious. That's just them going to the behind the scenes. But eventually that behind the scenes has to come out. You cannot avoid your problems. You cannot avoid the things that are pressing you, because the things that are pressing you are of you. So you're seeking to avoid yourself. By seeking to avoid yourself, you're creating disharmony within, and that particular degree of disharmony within will lead to disharmony without. You have to come to the recognition of the fact that you cannot avoid reality. Okay, then, Nero, so what are you gonna do then? Relax, you're gonna get some. You have to understand something that I call the 3 T's. And I have a whole video on this already, so go watch that if you want to, but I'll go into it here. First T, transcend. There is a default feeling that you are meant to experience with that particular degree of adversity. It might be fear, it might be anxiety, it might be worry, it might be nervousness, whatever it is. You need to begin to transcend the default and go to design. But the only way that you can do that is by then understanding the second thing. Transmute. Whatever it is, and the third one is transform. Whatever it is that's pressing you, if it's a person, imagine them in front of you. If it's your bank account, open up your bank account in real life, nigga.
No.
And stare at it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
No.
You need to stare at your bank account until you begin to understand one thing in particular. Like I said, the particular degree of avoidance or you attempting to ignore reality actually strengthens the frequency of adversity. So the incapability of you to confront reality indicates indirectly that you're weaker than reality. So let's say in the bank account example, you pull up your bank account and you stare at it. You stare at it until all the energy dissipates, because here's the thing. You're going to feel that anxiety. You're going to that says dissipate. Don't even worry about that. You're going to feel that worry. You're going to feel that anxiety. You're going to feel that fear. But that energy is eventually going to dissipate if you could just continuously stare at it. Because what's going to happen is this: you're going to end up going from negative to neutral. The mistake that a lot of people make is trying to go from negative to positive in one jump. You don't have the energy required to make that jump. Instead, allow the negativity to eventually go to neutrality. Now, you might be staring at that bank account for like 3 hours. One time it took me 40 minutes. I was just staring at my bank account until I felt
40,
until all that discomfort, anxiety, stress, and worry eventually began to dissipate, because it will, but it presents the illusion like it won't. And then when at that particular degree of neutrality, then it makes it easier to jump to positivity, because it requires half the energy that it took to get from one point to another. And then at that point, reality is transformed upon your basis of looking for an element of positivity within that particular condition, circumstance, or event, and then centralizing your attention to that through concentration, because concentration is a centralization of energy. And then you ultimately begin to shift the pole that you have begun to experience. I'll go back to black.
Going back to black. I never left black. That's what I'm trying to say. Black is beautiful.
Black is excellent. Let's just say for simplicity's sake that this is number 7. Not sure it is. That's okay. Bless the evil in your reality. What do you mean by that, Nero? Bless the evil in your reality. See, typically, when I say evil, I just mean the adversity or the difficulty or the hard times. Pause. By understanding that adversity, hardship, difficulty. Typically, whenever we have gone through situations, circumstances, events in our lives, and we've transcended them and we've got through them, we always look back at them with this element of gratitude. Always like, you know what? I'm glad I went through that experience because I learned this. I'm glad I went through that experience because that experience then made things different in my life this way. I'm glad I went through that experience because I got this out of that experience. Point being, we always displayed gratitude after we've overcome difficulty. But the master manifestor uses this as their tool to alter their reality now. What do I mean by that? Concept is known as negative gratitude. Negative gratitude is simply having gratitude for the negativity in your reality. Now, at first glance, that doesn't make any particular sense, but remember what I just said. Whenever we go through adversity in our life, some bullshit happens. We always look back at it with gratitude, either because we extracted a lesson, because things became better, or it positioned us for better. We always typically look back at the events in our reality with a lens of gratitude. And that gratitude is an indication that you've overcome that reality. So instead of waiting until after to experience that gratitude, experience it now, and then you will indicate to the universe that you have overcome that particular degree of adversity now. Why wait? You need to begin to understand that time is simply a constraint of the third dimensional realm. Linear time isn't exactly how it operates. Time is cyclical, hence why a clock is circular, right? And the thing that you have to begin to understand is that by coming to the realization that the materialization of your desired reality requires you to transcend limitations. One of those limitations is space-time constraints. You need to transcend time. Most of you are confined within time by still seeing things in a linear manner. You're still waiting for you to overcome the adversity in order for you to indicate that particular degree of gratitude. But if that gratitude equates to an indication to the universe that you've overcome that difficulty, then by exuding gratitude in the moment while the adversity is taking place, you then indicate to reality that you have already overcome that situation. And this is why you should learn to bless the evil in your reality as it's happening, because that's what inevitably allows it to be transmuted from evil into good by the gratitude, because that is a recognition and a realization that you've overcome it. And it's important that you're able to do that in the moments of hardship. So when you're going through some shit, you need to learn to love going through that shit. Pause. And I say that to say, right? We've all been through a particular degree of adversity and we've all overcome it. Then we always look back at that adversity with gratitude. Look at the adversity you're going through right now with gratitude, because that indicates the version of you has already transcended it, which then positions you and indicates the universe that you've already overcome it, which then allows you to then get to that particular point. Very, very powerful concept. Very, very powerful concept. It frames things in a different way, because remember, the problem is really the problem. The problem is, you should have said your perception. If you didn't, then you're kicked out the class. You failed. It's
a bit harsh.
So it's a harsh program we're running here, Adrian.
No retakes.
No do-overs. No. The other thing that a master manifestor understands is, I don't want my desired reality. Whatever it is that you seek to materialize, a healthy relationship, a promotion, a career, more money in your business, whatever it is, I don't want my desired reality. I want a new frequency. And that's on borrow that down. You have to begin to understand that the master manifester doesn't place the illusions of reality before themselves. Most people think I want more money. Most people think I want a healthy relationship. Most people think I want that promotion. I want that job, without coming to the realization that the only reason you ever want anything in life is because you unconsciously or consciously know that there's a feeling that you're missing. And because there's a feeling that you're missing, you seek to satisfy that internal lack with an external substance, which can be money, it can be a promotion, it can be status, it can be followers, it could be anything. Behind anything we ever want in life, simply because acquiring it would allow us to feel a way that we wish to feel that we don't currently feel. If you want a toothpick, it's to get meat stuck out your teeth. If you want something to eat, it's because you want your hunger satisfied. If you want a particular clothing item, it's because it would make you feel a way that you don't want to feel. If you look behind every desire that you have in reality, it's simply because acquiring it allows you to feel something you don't want to feel. Something that was a lot for me. That was a lot for me. Behind everything that it is that you seek to materialize in reality, all you want is to feel a way that you currently are not feeling. You only want to get your hair done because getting your hair done will let you feel a certain kind of way. You only want to get your nails done because getting your nails done will make you feel a certain kind of way. You only want some new shoes because getting those shoes would make you feel a certain type of way. You only want a notepad because that notepad would facilitate a particular degree of organization. Everything that we desire, no matter how small, how major, it's simply because there's a feeling that we're missing. And that feeling that we're missing is frequency, because here's the irony of it all. We think to ourselves, when I get that desire, then I'm going to feel differently. Without coming to the realization that when you feel differently, you get that desire. You need to be able to pinpoint, with the desired reality that you have, what are the feelings that you're missing? With money, people want to feel more secure. People want to feel more safe. People want to feel more comfortable. So that means safety, comfort, and security would then facilitate money to enter your reality, you see? Most people play the game backwards. Most people think, when I get that person, then I just want to feel loved. I just want someone to hold me. I just want to feel cherished. I just want to feel appreciated. Without realizing that feeling cherished, appreciated, and loved now facilitates you to then acquire that particular desire, because that's an indication that you have that. And remember, you can only have what you already have. You can only have what you already have. You can only have what you already have. You don't want your desired reality. What you want is a new frequency. But see, when you think it's a desire that you want, then you separate yourself from the game of reality again. Because think about it. When you say, I want money, money being something external, in that external experience, it's actually heightened that you're separated from money even more. But when you say, I don't want money, I want that feeling of security, comfort, you realize then there's no middleman to that particular feeling. You can cultivate feelings of security. You can cultivate feelings of safety and comfort now, which will then facilitate money to become something that chases you. Because the truth of the matter is, it's not about chasing your desires, it's about having your desires chase you. But in order to have your desires chase you, you have to understand what they want. And what they want is frequency. You're thinking about what you want. You're thinking, I want money, I want bad bitches, I want niggas to trick on me. You're thinking you want all of that stuff, without coming to the realization that what all of those things want is the mental emotional equivalent, which is the energetic match of that particular desire.
Have you watched Interstellar yet? Of course you haven't. Pathetic.
You know what, AJ? You know what? I'm going to watch it this weekend.
This weekend, yeah?
You have my word.
Okay.
You have my word.
Let's find out how much your word actually means.
Wow. You have my word. I shall watch Interstellar. And I'll make sure I'm alert and active. I even make sure the speakers are turned on.
I'll see it when I believe it.
the final thing that a master manifestor thinks. And by the way, if you're an entrepreneur or an athlete and you seek to unleash the potential that you can feel but you haven't yet seen in the next couple of weeks and 2 to 5 extra results, then link in the description. But the final thing that a master manifestor understands is that there may be multiple paths, detours, but the destination will be the same as long as I remain. And that's a bar, write that down. Now that is extremely self-explanatory, but just to highlight it, within this third dimensional realm, it can appear as if things are going wrong. It can appear as if you're going off the path. But so long as you remain in the right destination, as I said earlier in the video, you will go in the right direction no matter what appears. You may go through some shit which may make you doubt the materialization of what it is that you want. But you have to understand the detour, the path, there's a multitude of them. But so long as you remain, the destination will stay the same. So long as I remain, the destination will stay the same. Because you have to come to the understanding of the fact that so long as you're in the right destination, you will go in the right direction no matter what appears. But reality is going to attempt to try to shake you up and make you feel as if things are going wrong. And then when you believe that things are going wrong, even though you was on the path, you then end up creating a detour. But it's okay to go on a detour, because so long as you eventually come back to the recognition that you are already in your desired reality, no matter what appears, that path will eventually lead to your desired reality. Remember, there may be multiple paths, multiple detours, but the destination will be the same as long as you remain. And that is how a master manifestor thinks. How master manifestors think. You see, I have the privilege of being hired by... what's going on today? That's why it will never work. This is when Jamaica was united. See, it's very divine, you're one of a kind, but you must shut my mind. Do you think I should write the master's hero here?
Top.
You want some top?
Yo, my man went downhill, man. Is he in prison now?
He's in pen for fraud?
Yeah, crazy.
For fraud and his mom? I sent you a video about that. They're calling my man a client and that.
Oh yeah, that's where I seen that video. I was like, yo, that nigga's funny. Bro got called a client.
If you see me, make sure you sign up. We'll sort that out quickly.